Greetings, everyone. Today, I will be giving you my final lecture. To start, does anyone think they have received the gift of God's grace before? I guess to determine that, we need a common understanding of what grace is. Actual grace is a God-given gift of strength which can help you carry on in life, improve in your well-being, and to help you grow. So, now think back. Have you ever experienced the strength of God before? It's a fair assumption to say that almost everyone has, even if you didn't realize it at the moment. When I was 9 years old, I lived in Henderson, Nevada, about 15 miles outside of Las Vegas. One night, just before I went to bed, there was a shooting at a concert on the Strip. I went to bed that night the most anxious and scared I had ever been. The next morning, I listened in on the news and heard that the mass shooting was the deadliest in the history of the United States. I went to school feeling a little off that day. At the end of school, we had a prayer service in memory of those affected by the event. We were reminded to stay strong as a community. This church community is what we are brought into when we are baptized, a group to be with us during calamity, suffering, and confusion. This community was the grace I needed to ease my anxiety and move forward from the tragedy. I may have not realized it then, but I now know that the church, your community, is somewhere you can always turn to or fall back on. Later on in my life, I was able to use the grace of reconciling with others to better my relationship with my brother. My brother and I did not always have the best relationship. When we were young, we were very distant from one another. One of us would do something that angered the other, who would then retaliate, and that just turned into a repeated cycle. Eventually, we both moved out, and I didn't see him for several years after high school. But one year, at Christmas, when I finally saw him again, I felt it necessary to reconcile with him. I still believe this was due to God. Loosely following the steps of reconciliation, His grace allowed me to examine my own conscience, talk out my issues with Him, and help us forgive each other. From then on, we have always had a decent relationship with its own ups and downs, but always better than it was. Without the grace of reconciling with others, I'm not sure I would have ever attempted to repair my familial bond with my brother without the help of God's grace. Just remember that grace can help you in both your damaged and undamaged relationships. You just need to ask for His strength. When I was 31, I married my wife. Although marriage may not seem too significant, it is. One of the graces of matrimony allows two people to join together as one. When the priest pronounced us married, we were completely bonded together in the eyes of God. This unity provided strength to keep our lasting relationship. My wife and I have now been married for more than 50 years. Even though that time has not always been easy, we've been through everything together. However, this bond extends further than just husband and wife. Marriage is also a covenant with God. This agreement with God can also help further your relationship with Him and help you keep a constant connection to His church. What I really want you guys to remember is that marriage is not just an emotional or physical journey, but a long-lasting spiritual journey bonding you, your spouse, and God in a strong covenant together that is fueled and strengthened by His grace of unity. After you leave here today, if you remember nothing else, I want you to at least remember this. First, your community and family will always be there for you. They will be ready to strengthen you and brace you. Second, God can and will help you repair and rebuild relationships. And even if you don't have any relational problems, His grace can still improve those relationships you already have. And lastly, remember that marriage isn't just the key to a family. It is the door to a spiritual journey and unity that will strengthen your walk with the Lord until your time has gone. For your attention and attendance here today, thank you.